Dear students and future professionals, welcome back to yet another short video on group discussion. You know, Now today we'll be discussing on some key professional and polite phrases that you need to make use of while you are in a GD session. Now, presenting yourself in a professional way, as I have already stressed in my previous video, is extremely important. Okay. Now you have to impress your recruiter or the recruiting team or the group discussion whoever is conducting. It could be one person, it could be a panel, it can be instantly done live, and also it can also be recorded and reviewed later on to assess each one of you. So here let us go into some of the key professional and polite phrases that you are normally expected to make use of. Yeah, grammatically correct English is okay, but then simply grammatically correct English is not enough. You have to project yourself as future professionals. So certain things let us go into here. Okay. Now professional phrases, what exactly essentially they do? They convey ideas very respectfully, and it makes you understand better. If you are sharing your thoughts, others will be able to better grasp you, understand you, and overall you will be able to contribute to the group discussion more effectively, and likelihood that you will be rated high. A professional phrase is what it is, a term or expression that conveys expertise, I mean your expertise, the formality, and also the respect for others. Now, having said this, sometimes we have a confusion between what these professional phrases are. See, professional phrases can be, industry specific jargons, right? And if at all you are the members of the group, GD are of the same background, you may use them. Okay, so these are basically professional or technical phrases. For instance, core competency. Now, those of you are in HR, okay, management, MBAs, you must be aware of that core competency, what it reflects, it means. So, you can make use of this phrase in a discussion if at all you have the people in the same background. Otherwise, don't make use of all these. It could be jargons, right? For instance, another is deliverables. Okay, what does it mean? Specific output or results that are needed to be produced. ROI, it stands for return on investment. This is a measure of profitability. But then if you find that the team members or the members in the GD are not uniform, their background is different, it's a diversified group, so better to avoid these industry specific jargons. You can make use of more general expressions, right? And that will give you more clarity and also exhibit your professionalism. Now let us go into these professional phrases. See, in general we can start, then go into the specific situation in a GD where you have to make specific sentences, or you can use specific sentences. So suppose, take an example, I appreciate your insight. I appreciate your insight. What are you showing? You are showing your gratitude for somebody who has contributed, very positively. Okay. So normally you could have said, good, nice idea, nice thoughts. But then using the expression, I appreciate your insight, it conveys or gives you a message regarding you that you are acquainted with the professional phrases. Likewise, let's take one more example. Could you please clarify what you mean by, this way you are asking someone. So you are asking for clarification in a very polite way using professional phrase. Alternatively, normally what you could have said, you could have, how do you have put it this across? Mr. Number 6, you should explain what you said as it was too confusing. That grammatically all right, but are you using professional polite expressions? Obviously no. Now, having given you some, examples of how you should be or what should be your professional phrases like. Now let us go to specific situations in a GD. To start with, you have what you say in a previous video I had already shared. There are three phases of a GD. First one is initiating, then you have to participate in the discussion phase, which is the major segment, and then finally you have to do some summarization. Even if you don't reach to any conclusions, but summary is a must. Now, when you are initiating a discussion or a group discussion, what are the professional phrases, polite phrases, how you are going to make use of? Let us take some example. So, what I am saying, let us begin our discussion on the topic. Let us begin our discussion on the topic. Okay? Topic could be anything. Haste makes wastes. Right? This example sake I am saying. Okay? Similarly, looking at each of the co-participants around your left or right, what are you saying? Shall we start with Mr. Number 6 if you all agree? Or you can put it in a reverse order. If you all agree, let's go clockwise or anti-clockwise, each taking 2 minutes in the first go. Or you can say, I would like to introduce the topic assigned. Okay? You can state the topic. It could be India is rich, Indians are poor. So how do you are starting? I would like to introduce the topic. Okay? Now, similarly, if that is a confusion among the members, at times it happens. So what are you taking? You are taking the initiative, or you are ready to accept the responsibility. So how should your sentence be? I don't mind initiating the GD if you all so wish. Or, dear participants, let's not waste time further. Okay? I am willing to be the last speaker, or I am willing to speak the last. So that shows your flexibility along with your professional language, how you are initiating. Similarly, you can also say, with due respect, I would like to put forward or put forth my views, right? It could be anything on the related to your topic. Let's take as in a multicultural and diversified nation like ours, the UCC or proposed UCC Uniform Civil Code should be debated at the national level, and only after a consent, maybe we can proceed. So these are the views, that are suffix. But then initially, how do you start? Our focus would be how do you use the initial, part of the sentence, or how you begin by using these professional phrases. Or you can be more formal while initiating, and you can say, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It could be good morning, it could be good afternoon, good evening. The situation could vary, right? I would like to set the ball rolling by saying that. Okay? So, good morning, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, right? So, that way also you can begin. Next is expressing agreement or understanding with your fellow participants. Whatever they had said, you are agreeing to. So, it is necessary to keep in mind that you are also being assessed favorably for cooperation or extended to your fellow participants, right? All these are positive behavior, mind you. So, how do you say so? See, don't carry the impression that you are always to fight with your co-participants and then only you can score good points. No, it's not so. At times, cooperation is also equally important. So, how do you begin with? What should be your professional phrases like? I totally agree with you, Mr. Number 4, on the urgent need of gender equity in the organizational policy and practices. Something. So, I totally agree with you, Mr. Number 4. Or you can say, as a matter of fact, Mr. X is very right in saying that managers should be impartial, fair, and honest. Third alternative I give you here one is, I think you are absolutely right in suggesting that whatever it is, media personnel should be non-political, unbiased, and should take sides. Shouldn't take sides. Sorry, shouldn't take sides. So this could be your sentence if the topic is connected to that. Next, you can also say, I have to side with Mr. X on this one. Okay, you might have disagreed on a different point, but here you are willing to agree with. So, what do you say? I have to side with Mr. X on this one. You are stressing on the point, this one. Okay, she is right in suggesting one nation, one law. For instance, I am giving you examples. See, that is not more important for you, for the right now in the video we are discussing. Our main focus is how to make use of the professional polite phrases. Similarly, you can also say there can be no doubt that you are agreeing to someone else, whatever somebody had stated. So you are saying there is no doubt that. Let us take an example. India is developing fast as the statistics over the years suggests. After agreeing, there could be some situation where you are not agreeing with your fellow participants. Okay? So there is no harm if you are expressing your disagreement, but then you have to do it using again polite expressions and professional phrases. Let us take some of the examples. Why it's so important? Because if you are disagreeing but not doing it appropriately, then you may sound rude and impolite, and that will go against you in a GD, mind you. You are not there to fight. It's not a boxing ring, mind you. So, what will be your sentence like when you are disagreeing? With due respect, I believe it would be wrong. What wrong? Let's take an example. To say that all politicians are corrupt, inefficient, or something. With due respect, I believe it would be wrong, right, to take a stand that way. Next, it could be, with due respect, I only partly agreeing to your fellow participants. Okay? What is that? Take an example here also. It will be more clear if we go with the examples. So, you say that with due respect, I would only agree partly that objective reporting by media is a thing of the past. It still continues, right? You have to separate the sheep from the goats. Next sentence would be like this. I feel it wouldn't be right to say that. Here also you are agreeing partly and disagreeing partly. What could be a sentence? Sports and games are waste of money for a country like ours. So how you are arguing here? I feel it wouldn't be right to say that sports and games are waste of money for a country like ours or India, right? So and then subsequently, see, we are also only taking here examples of beginning. How do you begin your sentence in a polite and professional way? One more example we can take here. Though I agree with Mr. Number 2 that, okay, partly you are agreeing, partly disagreeing. Let's take an example here too. Though I agree with Mr. Number 2 that we should be growing at least as fast as our neighbor China, I also believe that government is making serious effort in this directions. So, you are agreeing partly and also adding to what somebody else has said. Now, after this partly agreeing or disagreeing, now we go to encouraging other participants, because you have to take everyone with you. Okay? See, in GD, as I said in the previous videos, you have to also show your team manship. That means you want to take everybody with you, not by flexing your muscle, not by threatening, but by your logical arguments, by your polite expressions. So here we go, encouraging other participants. How do you begin? How you use your polite expressions, professional expressions? Here we go with some examples. Let us hear from everyone. Okay? That you are encouraging all members to share their thoughts. Miss Number 7 hasn't spoken yet. Why not we listen to her? So this is how you are, expressing. Secondly, what do you think, Mr. Number 6? So here you are directly asking somebody to share his or her views. A third alternative could be, does anyone have anything to add to this statement which our Mr. Number 5 has stated? Or else I am ready to go ahead with my view also. Or sometimes you are also encouraging others by saying, let us move on to the next participant, please. Maybe the next participant hasn't spoken yet and the previous participant is trying to, snatch away a larger time slot. Okay, so that is where you are also using a very polite expressions, right? Let us move on to the next participants, please. Okay, I guess Mr. Number 5 has something to add here, right? See, I told you in some video, during your GD, you must keep your, eyes rotating on everybody, not only one or two, right? So, in case you notice somebody is, interested to add something to someone, right, through his or her facial expressions, you can use this expression. I guess Mr. Number 5 has something to add here. Am I right? I am right. So you are asking. Okay. Now let's go to yet another situation. Expressing opinion or ideas. Your own opinion or ideas somewhere. Okay. Maybe in the subsequent round. Right. In my opinion. Okay. That means you are stating your own view. Okay. What could be? Let's take one example here also. People with criminal records should be debarred from contesting general elections or elections, right? In my opinion. Similarly, you can also say, from my perspective, mark the vocabulary, perspective. From my perspective, time has come for gig workers to be given all benefits at par with that of the full-timers. You know what gig workers is. Okay? I believe or I feel we should weaken Pakistan economically rather than fighting battles often. Right? So, this is I believe or I feel, okay? Or, mind you, here we are discussing our, how to express your ideas or opinion. To be honest, okay? To be honest, see the phrase, right? That means you are sincere, you believe very strongly. What can that be? Brain drain can be banned by law, particularly when the state has invested so much of resources out of the taxpayers' money. Okay? So, to be honest. Likewise, as far as I am concerned, okay, here you are, stating your own view or opinion, right? As far as I am concerned. But that can be, secularism is the only way India can sustain and develop fastest, right? Next, asking for clarification. Okay, suppose you have not understood. Okay, so it is rather than remaining silent, okay, so it is advisable to seek clarity or clarification in a polite and professional vocabulary or sentence. How can that be? I am sorry, but could you please, I am sorry, but could you please make it more clear? Let's take an example. I am sorry, but could you please make it more clear as to why the new education policy is not acceptable in the present form? If that is the statement coming from a participant. Okay. Next, if you don't mind, could you please explain? If you don't mind, see the polite way you are approaching. If you don't mind, could you please explain why privatization of banks in India is not the solution for managing, NPA? NPA stands for non-performing assets. So, if you don't mind. Likewise, you can also say, can you give an example, please? Or instance, please, where the rules deviation in the present case. Okay. Now, try to imagine the situation where you have to make use of, but you can begin this way and suffix the sentence whatever the situation is. Could you please elaborate on that? You are asking for clarification. Could you explain that in more detail, please? See, you can prefix please or you can also suffix please, right? Or if you want to be a little bit more polite, how do you say? Would you mind explaining that again, please? Or if I understand you correctly, then state what you understood about the person who had shared his or her view. Now, when you are interrupting politely, as I said, you have to also make use of some professional phrases, right? How do you do that? Okay. Now, when do you interrupt? I think I shared earlier that normally one should not interrupt too often, right? Unless it is that urgent or necessity. So, here I give you two instances where you can interrupt when somebody else is sharing his or her views. Okay. If you want to add something very important or some errors has occurred in the statistics or statement what somebody had said, which can mislead the entire discussion, then you can do it very politely. Or the discussion is somewhere moving out of track, so you want to bring it back. Okay. Now, how your sentence should be? The polite expressions. Here are we go. First is, sorry to interrupt, Mr. Number 4. Our topic of private sector bank. Our topic is private sector banks, NPAs, not NBFCs. Let's say somebody is quoting something regarding non-banking financial companies, but your topic was about banks and that too private sector banks. So you are, trying to bring back the discussion. So you are saying, sorry to interrupt, Mr. Number 4 or number 5, whoever he is. Or I would like to add here that I only mentioned the GDP, gross domestic product, right? Not PCI, per capita income. So you are trying to, if somebody has misunderstood you or trying to just find that what you said was not correct, so you can correct him that, hey, yeah, Mr. Number 4, sorry, I am interrupting. I was only quoting the figure regarding the GDP, not the PCI, okay, per capita income. Or you can say it is okay if I add something here, right, by interrupting. Or if I may interrupt, I would like to add that. What is happening? Somebody is taking too much of time and you want to remind everybody that time is very short. So how do you say, if I may interrupt, I would like to add that we are only left 2 minutes time. Okay, that you can do and interrupt. Some other useful phrases that you may use, I am listing out 4 5 here. Okay, to break the ice. Okay, now when you start a discussion, you can make use of breaking the ice, right? Okay, sometimes it happens in GD, all are sitting silently. You have been already given the topic, but somebody waiting for let somebody else initiate. So you can always break the ice, right? So you can say, to break the ice, friends, let us take up the very important topic given to us. Okay. Or you can use, to get straight to the point. Now, where do you say though? To put the discussion on the most important point directly. Okay. Let us put our heads together, friends, and brainstorm on the issue of, likewise you can say, brainstorm the issue of. In today's world, okay, this is a useful phrase, today's world, in the current scenario, situation, right? Take an example here. Money and wealth do matter a great deal. In today's world, money and wealth do matter a great deal, if you carry that belief. Or you can thank somebody who has already, requested you for a clarification or taking initiative. Do the summarization. So what you are doing, thank you for asking my opinion or asking me to lead or asking me to summarize. This way you have to can use a very polite professional phrase. So these are some of the ways in which you have to project yourself, right, in a very positive note by using phrases which will sound professional, right, which are polite, right, not rude. Okay, that's the objective of GD. In GD you are assessed on so many other dimensions also. Okay, so thank you for you. We'll continue. Thank you.